What is going on, brohemes? It is your boy Coop, and we are checking out such a synergistic frame. Not quite on par with Nidus, but it's getting there. It's getting there. It's not ever going to get there, but it is still really good. I would say this is, competable. Can compete, I should say. I don't think competable is a word. It can compete for the second spot of most synergistic frame in the game, and I know that's a big thing, but all of her abilities go together. You need to use all of them in tandem to go for a very specific kind of a build, which I think is, you don't have to do it that way. You can do what I'm doing right here, which is just using her 2 as a 90% damage reduction. Her 2, which is the shield you can see floating around me, looks like that dude who rubs his dandruffy head around you, and it's like floating like a little cloud of dandruff around him. That's essentially what happens. She has glass particles that reflect all this damage back, so you're only taking 90%. Or you're avoiding 90% of that damage. So the synergy with this frame is just freaking awesome, guys. It is out of control good. With the sword and shield, you get 85% damage reduction, or with the Ack and Brunt, I should say. With Sylvan Aegis, you get 90%. I like Ack and Brunt because you can get viral and a ton of slash procs because it's a slash-based weapon, as opposed to Sylvan Aegis, which is heat-based. So that'd be pretty good for like Corpus or even Infested, which I'm fighting here. I just really like the slash-based weapons. But the sword and shield, once you have it out like in a channeling type mode, you can hold the block button. That'll give you 85% damage reduction. Then with her shield, the 90% damage you take is reduced. That's a pretty good combo. That's a deep dish combo mambo. So obviously, you don't want to just use her for her 2. You want to do everything synergistically. Unfortunately, I'm fighting Infested here. There's a lot of disruptors, and those disruptors are not letting you use all your abilities and keep up your 2 constantly. And since I could not keep up my 2, I just wanted to show exactly how good and effective this combination can be with the sword and shield and just the 2, if you don't want to get all in depth with the build. But that's really not what we're going to focus on. So essentially, as you can see, she's blinding dudes. They look like Rosie O'Donnell just took her clothes off and ran across the street. Their eyes are burning. They don't want to see. They're like, no, I will not look. This is what's happening. This is her passive ability, and it essentially reflects light directly into the eyes of the enemies, causes them to burn. Their eyes are burning out of their socket. That's a really bright light, if you ask me. But look, when I'm standing still, it stops. But as soon as you move, it just reapprox this blind effect. So you could use her with Arcane Trickery, which is, I know I'm saying that about everything, but it's still my favorite Arcane Trickery is what's up. It's the shizness. So essentially for the Ack and Brunt, this is the Riven I had. It has melee damage on it, which is a big thing with slash weapons, because if you have melee damage or overall damage, like Spoiled Strike or something, that's going to increase those slash proc damage output. Slash mods don't necessarily do that, so it's something you definitely want to remember. But a Riven is not necessary at all, and actually I don't have condition overload on here, and the reason why I don't have it is because I am retarded. But Relentless Combination is definitely optional, as well as the Riven for sure. Relentless Combination just helps you when you do slash damage to build your combo counter, and as you can see, I think mine was at 3.5 whenever we were watching it, and that was switching between a shotgun and that. So if you're going to be switching between other weapons, Relentless Combination is nice to get your combo counter back up. So her 2, right here, you saw the 1 right there at the beginning for a brief moment, but this is her 2, and that is essentially the glass shield that surrounds you. Now, her 3 is going to be this carousel, and that is kind of cool. It has huge aggro potential, greater than that of your Warframe, so it'll pull enemies in to attack it instead of you. The damage they deal to it is reflected back to them. So her 4, whenever you cast this out like this, it's kind of like a snow globe in a way. It has a health meter, but all enemies that it passes through as it grows will add to its overall health. So that's the kind of like the buff they gave to this. So instead of just making it have a base level health. Now you see how small this one is? It's because I had to start my 4 and then push the button again to stop its growth. So be sure you're double tapping that if you don't want it to grow real big. And the reason you would not want it to grow real big is for, well, the reason we're going to be using it isn't for protection. So here's the build we're going with, guys. Just to quickly knock this part out of the way. Rejuvenation, get your health back. It's kind of nice, but I think a dash would actually be better there and go for like enemy radar. That way you can have, say, a power drift or even a range mod or something in the Exilia spot. That's what I would do. The umbral mods, though, really necessary, as well as Hunter Adrenaline because you're going to be getting shot a lot. You don't have to have Hunter Adrenaline on. You can throw some more range, some more duration, whatever you want. But these Umbral mods, guys, you're getting way more health and way more power strength than you could get with an Intensify and a Vitality. A lot more. So it's just a good combo. And as you can see, these aren't even ranked up all the way. I think I'm a dot away on one and 2 dots away on the other. So I still got some ways to go. So I could have this power strength and overall health a lot higher. And I'm using 2 Arcane Guardians because health, shield, and all that applies to your 4. Your 4's health and shield always apply to that. So here's what we're doing, guys. You start your 2. This is the sexy synergy. And then you throw down this carousel. And these guys like Michael Jackson. They like kids' toys. They're going right for them, okay? You throw it down, and they start shooting it. All the damage they do to this gets reflected back at them, but not only that, but it gets absorbed by your Shatter Shield. So that shield you have around you, every time they do damage to your carousel, is added to there. So you can see I'm doing like 4,000 something damage to these guys right now. But it'll just stack higher and higher. When you use your 4, it starts the counter over for your shield. So your shield goes back up to 40 seconds or whatever you had it at. That's good because if you're trying to stack damage from them shooting that carousel and you run out of time on your shield, you'd have to start over from your base damage, which sucks, right? But that's why you can use your 4, and that's the only reason I'm using my 4. Not only can it give you a little bit of protection at times, but it resets that. So you could stack this damage that you're growing infinitely. Now you can see the damage numbers double when you are hitting dudes affected by glass, and they turn into glass whenever your 4 passes over them. As you can see right there. See how that just started the timer over for my 2. So they shoot this carousel, all that damage is going into my shield, so not only is it blocking 90% of incoming damage, it's actually dealing damage too, which is why a sword and shield is nice to get up close and personal. It's damaging them as well as your melee weapon. This stacks, I believe, infinitely. I know it stacks into the hundreds of thousands of damage per hit, which is insane. Now, I have heard that it can even get into the millions, or maybe it's just 1 million. I don't know. I've never gotten it that high, but supposedly you can. That is a long run if you're going to be stacking the damage that high. But either way, this was just kind of to show you guys, give you a brief overview on how that works. You throw down your 3, it adds damage to your 2, and your 4 resets the timer of your 2. And of course, your 1 breaks your 4. You slap it with your 1, and it will break that shield down. And you don't have to do that, but you know, you can. So that's all of your abilities working together in this awesome synergistic way. So shotguns are going to be nice for up close and personal combat. And really, guys, I just had such a badass ribbon for this that I just so happened to get, because I used the old PYRANA, dude. And now I got this badass multi-shot crit chance one, which is just totally awesome. And against Infested, this is a great weapon to use. But I would recommend the Detron Mera or the Comb or even the Sobek, any of those shotguns that you got to get up close that are going to strip armor, because I don't care if you're doing 50 million damage a hit. Once you're fighting late game Corrupted or Grineer or something, they'll have so much armor that you're just not going to do anything to them. It's just not going to matter. You could stand there for an hour and a half and it's not going to kill them. So you got to strip the armor, and then that Shatter Shield will be extremely effective. So you run up, you start shotgunning the dudes, and then you let your Shatter Shield tear down their health, and it's just an amazingly synergistic thing that you have. It's a thing of beauty. Unfortunately, I am in a infested mission, ultimate Axie mission. So as you can see, I'm just kind of using my shield and my weapons just to kind of have some fun here. But if there weren't all these damn purple disruptor dudes running around like Barney, bro, God, those guys really wrecked my time. I could not keep up the counters. But if you're doing it against Grineer or any of those guys, you should be just totally fine to stay extremely late, stacking that damage over and over and over until you just have some crazy numbers on your shield. Just remember, the reason I have so much efficiency on my build is because I really wanted to be able to cast that 4 to reset my timer as often as needed. If you want to go for a little more duration, you can. Same reason I have Hunter Adrenaline on, because I want to be able to, you know, if I take any damage, I want that to go to help me to restore my energy. And it all just kind of makes sense from a synergistic standpoint. Anyways, guys, that is essentially the build. I would love to know what you guys think about this. If you have tried it, if you have deviations in the build from what I have, this is a very basic one, you know, just to help kind of any level of player get right into this build and kind of figure out what's going on. I try to keep it as simple as possible, but use the shotguns or something that strips. You can use, I guess, Tord and Pox too if you want to, but you need something to strip armor, because this shield, you're going to feel like it sucks if you don't have that armor stripping ability, and really everything sucks in this game if you don't have the armor stripped, if you're late enough in the game. Anyways, y'all, that is going to be all for me. If you like it, leave a like. If you didn't, then don't. I will be back next time with another video. Peace.